There is a mountain by the sea in Lofta called Puhke Mountain. On the side that faces away from the water there is a long crack that leads to a chamber or hall where there once lived a giant, Puhke, about whom many stories are told. After they built a church in Lofta, this giant suffered greatly due to the ringing of the bell. But he also suffered from the moisture in the stone, which seeped and dripped out from the mountain. It got so bad that a pond, Kofra Springs, formed in the meadow just north of the church, big enough that they sometimes used it for baptisms. Puhke would often say that he needed to move, because Kofra Springs and Lofta rings, referring to the pond and the church bell. One Sunday, the ringing of the bell was bothering Puhke worse than usual, so he sent his daughter up to the top of the mountain, where she used her apron as a sling to cast a huge boulder at the bell tower. But she was too strong and threw too hard, and the stone sailed over the church and fell harmlessly to the ground, and lies there still to this day, as big as a small house. One day, this giant maiden was walking around, and she noticed 3 children on a hill. They had found an oak branch and tied a heavy rope to it, and were pretending that it was a plow. One of the children worked the plow, and the other 2 pulled. Intrigued by the strange equipment and the tiny little draft animals, she took and put them in her apron and brought them home to show her father, Puhke. But he wasn't pleased with her new toys. He said, "Take them out again. Our time is over. It's now going to be such as these that shall rule over the likes of us." Finally, Puhke had had enough of it all, and he moved to Gotland, where he met a skipper from Lofta. He gave the seaman a box and asked him to put it on the altar of the church there in Lofta, while the congregation was gathered. But he strictly forbade the sailor from opening it. "If you do as I say," said the giant, "then you will find in the church's foundation a stone, under which is a key, which you then can use to enter Puhke Mountain. When you do, you'll see a door that you should open, and when you enter, there will be 2 black dogs, but you needn't be afraid of them. Just walk past into the room, and you'll find a table covered with cups and pitchers of fine silver. You may take the largest silver pitcher, but you'll regret it if you take anything more than that." The skipper remembered Puhke's words, and when the ship approached Puhke Mountain, the crew began asking about the box. After much deliberation, they decided to throw the skipper overboard near a small island that happened to be near at hand. But when they did so, the island burst into flame, leaving it a barren and deserted rock, which it is to this very day.